So we're here on behalf of I'm here, well, Brittany's here, my coworker. We're here for Kahnawà Collective Impact, and I'm really grateful that I'm here today. So I just wanted to ask, how many people actually know what KCI does? Got one, we got two, we got three, 4, 5. Brittany's not putting her hand up, which is a great answer. But again, don't worry, you're not alone. Even some days I'm trying to figure it out myself. So today I'll be sharing what KCI has been working on, what's been happening behind the scenes, and how it connects to the health and well-being of our community. So it won't be a formal presentation. I want it to feel more like a sharing conversation, because that's how KCI really started. It really helped start it through conversations. And remember, if you don't understand what KCI is, that's okay. Sometimes, again, we're still explaining it ourselves. So the things I do want to talk about today is what KCI is, what we've been doing, what we're working on right now, how this all connects to the Community Wellness Plan Initiative, and our vision for the community. And of course, I want to hear from all of you. Oh, before I go, this is just a short video. It's not mine. It's just on what collective impact is as an idea.
Of holding conversations around social and economic challenges. How can we work together to ensure our families are happy, healthy, and prosperous? What can we do to ensure that language and culture, education, household income, and health services don't take a back seat? Who will preserve our language and culture? Who will encourage our kids to stay in school? Who will make sure we are healthy? Who will have a job and put food on the table? No one person, group, business, or service organization can go it alone. We have strength in numbers. Let's create change together. So right now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, how can I help? Well, for starters, you can join the steering committee. The steering committee is a large group of individuals who identify community challenges that need to be addressed. Another thing you can do is join a working group. A working group is an offshoot of the steering committee that works on more specific community challenges. But after all steps have been taken, the remaining question is, how do we know if it's working? Well, when you see yourself start to be surrounded by positive changes due to the efforts of a working group, you know we're going in the right direction. Now that you know how to get involved, you might be thinking, well, why should I? The answer is actually rather simple. You should be involved because our community is a family, and we all need to support one another. By getting involved in Kahnawà Collective Impact, you are ensuring a better quality of life for your children, grandchildren, and all future generations. The positive effects of collective impact can be seen in a number of ways. This means more graduations, less drugs, income security and benefits, more language speakers, better health, many, many more. More than 200 people have participated so far. So the real question is, are you in?
Those are really bad and old email addresses and websites, but we just wanted to use the essence of that video, and that's what collective impact. It's not something that we created here in Kahnawà. We got the idea from the collective impact movement. So I still have trouble saying this word, so bear with me. Tehontathró. Did I say that okay? Correct me?
Tehontathró.
Okay, I still practice. It's posted on my computer. I've been practicing for days. It means sharing with each other, and KCI was built the same way. The idea of sharing, listening, and talking with each other, that's exactly what how collective impact works. People come together, we talk about real issues, we listen to each other, sometimes we disagree, and slowly we try to figure things out together. But nothing works without the community. So what is KCI? So when I tell people I work for KCI, the first question I get is, what is that? And honestly, depending on the day, I might have a different answer for you. But the simplest way to say it is, KCI isn't a program and it isn't one organization. It's a community movement, and it's more like a table where people can come together. And sometimes it's crowded, sometimes it's quiet, but it's always there. And sometimes that means projects, and sometimes that just means long conversations, and sometimes that means meetings, lots of meetings, and sometimes that means food, which helps the people come to the meetings, and sometimes that means trying to explain what KCI is again, and again, and again. So ultimately, we work on the things that are too big for one group to fix. And we try to think long-term, not just today, but like we all like to say, 7 generations ahead. And it's also important to recognize that the community work moves at community speed in its own way on its own time. So this type of work can't be rushed. And because if everything was easy in community work, we wouldn't need collective impact. So how did KCI start? So it all started back in around 2010, and people started noticing that some community members were falling through the cracks. Services existed, but they weren't always connected. And instead of saying, that's not my problem, people asked a different question. And we asked each other, how do we work together and better? So different organizations came together to understand what was happening and to figure out what was really going on. And that's truly where collective impact started in Kahnawà. As to why PCI was created, so this is going to move us into 2017 to 2019. Some challenges were getting bigger, and there was more people needing more support. We had more complex situations, and there wasn't one group of people that could fix it alone. So instead of pointing fingers, the question became, how do we work together as a community instead of working separately? And I think that's something we all still see today. So what makes KCI different? So I think it's important to point out what we do, and it's also important to know what we don't do. So what we don't do is we don't replace the current programs that are in place. Those are for everybody's entities to hold on to. We're not coming here for that. And the other thing is, we don't fund programs. We get a lot of requests for resources, and we don't have those resources. We're out there looking for funding as well, but what we can do is maybe help you find funding. So those are two misconceptions, is that we're trying to replace what already exists, and that we have a pile of money that we don't.
Wow, you don't have a money tree?
We're looking for it. So what we do is we do connect people. We like to support ideas from the community, especially grassroots initiatives that just don't get enough support. And we also focus on long-term change and not just quick fixes. We don't want to put a Band-Aid solution on anything we're doing. We really want to get to the root cause. And sometimes we help things just grow, just flourish. And sometimes we like to consider ourselves like the glue, the thing that kind of holds everything together. Not all the time, but sometimes we're like glue. So these are our priority areas. And when the community talked about what matters most, the answers weren't surprising. So people talked about food. This is the wrong slide. Yes, sorry. What happened there? Oh no, it's right side. So people talked about food, people talked about culture, and people talked about our youth. So these were all chosen by the community, not by staff, not by funders, not by anyone else but the community. So because those things are connected to everything, we know that if our youth is strong, then our community is strong. And if our culture is strong, then the community is strong. And if our families are supported, then again, our community is strong. And we also realize that if no one else will take care of these things, who will? No one's coming to save Kahnawà. Kahnawà needs to save themselves. So these are the reason why these things became the focus. I did miss a slide, sorry guys. That was supposed to be it. So again, people talked about food, people talked about our language, and people talked about health, especially for our youth. So this one is actually my favorite slide, and some of you actually might be in this slide, because it actually proves we do things. These are just some of the events, some of the projects, some of the workshops, and some of the gatherings that came out of KCI. So we had the language mentorship program. I'm not sure where that is. That's not in there. We had a waterfowl with the kids in 2025 through the 4-H Club. We had our first AGM in 2025, which is the first in KCI's history. We had Spirit of Wellness basket making, again in Jordo, through the kids were at the 4-H Club. We had a garden giveaway last summer. We've been at the sexual health fairs, or Sexapalooza, whatever the naming convention is right now. Our Three Sisters Garden, Daryl Thompson talking about men's wellness, governance, Pride Parade, positive ticketing campaign, the list goes on, and so it's really inspiring to think about all the good that Kahnawà has done. And the best part is actually it didn't come from our staff, it actually came from community ideas, so that's something to be extra proud of. So these are just, over the years, a lot of different projects came out of KCI. And again, the credit goes back to the community. And some of the projects were really small projects, and some of them were really big projects, but all of them are really important and connected to the community well-being. So some of the examples, the first one you'll see Chief Stephen McCumber at the Green Corn Agricultural Fair, then the Three Sisters Garden that started back in 2020, our 3-H Club. This was the mentorship program that was actually passed off to Kahnawà, I believe, in 2024. So it was birthed at KCI and found a permanent home at Kahnawà. This is a recent photo of our new steering committee with its new structure in place. And again, some of the partnerships we've done, which was the KCS Planting of Seeds Carnival, which we gladly volunteered at. So it's also important to know that none of this happens without people showing up. And these are the moments that make the work worth it. So this is, you don't get to see behind the scenes, but this is the pivotal moments. So the things we are proud of, we've had ups and downs like everybody else, but the important thing about KCI is that we just kept going. We kept projects going, we kept partnerships going, and we kept working on the structure behind the scenes. So see if these are some of the things that we've done. We've secured funding. We've held, again, our first AGM. We've rebuilt our structure for the new steering committee. We've gone through evaluation of our work, which we continue to do. We've gone back and looked at our planning. We've strengthened our partnerships. And the perfect example of something is the first project that KCI ever did, which is the Three Sisters Garden. And again, I mentioned that was back in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. And KCI didn't miss a beat. Meetings continued, plannings continued, and planting happened all in the middle of a pandemic. So it's a lot of the work people don't see, but it's actually really important. And that's a picture of the first little parts of the Three Sisters Garden. If you saw pictures now, I don't think I shared one, but it was flourishing. So we've had our challenges too, and I won't pretend it's been easy. Community work is hard, as probably everyone in this room knows. It's messy sometimes. Sometimes we don't all agree. It can be incredibly slow, and we don't always get it perfect. And sometimes people ask, what is KCI even doing? Is KCI making a difference? And that's fair, but to sit in those moments, it is hard. Because the work behind the scenes doesn't always show up on a poster in your social media feed. We've had challenges. So some of our challenges, which a lot of people in this room are familiar with, is our volunteers have been tired. We've always had funding issues. We've always had confusion about KCI. We've had governance changing. We have just the issue of trying to keep everyone connected on the right path. So these moments are hard, and it reminds us of why the work matters. Because if it didn't matter, we wouldn't keep coming back to the table. Those challenges forced us to slow down, a reminder to myself, to refocus, to fix things, and to come back stronger. So we didn't stop, even when there's times we wanted to. And I wanted to share this because we also know being honest is important. And if community work was simple, I think we would all be out of a job. Yeah, so I'm just gonna bring this back to why that question, and this is why. KCI exists. It's everything you guys just said. It's connection, it's culture, it's support, it's opportunities, it's a sense of belonging, and it's our future generations. And that's exactly what KCI is trying to work on. It's not to control things, again, it's not to replace things, but to bring those people together so those things don't get lost. And KCI only works when the community is part of it. Without the community, KCI doesn't exist. So what's happening now with KCI? The last couple of years has actually been a rebuild for us. We've been busy fixing structure, we've been improving our communication, we're growing our teams, we're doing stronger planning, and we're making sure that things are actually moving in the right direction. And sometimes that work isn't exciting. I sometimes say that work isn't sexy, because it's not, but it is necessary. And sometimes the work nobody sees is the hardest work, and I think a lot of probably feel that as well. We know that good things take time, and time is not something we have, so sometimes that's the hardest thing. But we're in a season of restructure, and now we're moving and seeing where this goes from here. So here's where we're heading. Moving forward, we do want to be more visible in the community. We want to be more connected, we want to be more active, and we want to be more involved in the community. So things like this are really important to our new restructure. Again, that's engagement, that's more action teams, that's better communication, it's stronger partnerships, and it's actually measuring our impact on the things that we're working on. Are they making a difference? So we don't want to just be doing the things, but we want to be doing the things that actually matter. And it's important to note here at the bottom, and I'm going to butcher this as well, but I'm going to try. So through our rebranding in 2019, we had adopted the name Skatne Deyukwa Ganere? Ganere? Nyawa. Ganere. So again, I have practiced, it's on my post-it. No shame there. So it means we look ahead beyond the issues currently in front of us. And I do think that's really important. And we really want to start leading and leaning into our Ganegeha name, appreciating how far the term collective impact has brought us, but it's like now is the time to truly make it our own. So we'll take the teachings that they had and then make it the version that Kahnawà needs. So KCI isn't just staff, it isn't a building. KCI is actually our people, and it's the belief that our community could be even stronger. So you can all be involved in small ways or big ways, as many of you are in this room. It happens every time someone volunteers, it happens every time someone speaks up, it happens every time someone shares an idea, it happens every time someone comes to a meeting or something similar like this. It happens every time someone helps someone else, like Ashley was saying, and it happens every time someone keeps the language alive. So it's even as simple as actually liking something on Facebook. Those type of things actually make impact. So showing up is already helping, and showing up is actually what matters. And again, that's what collective impact is. So I'm just going to try and slow it down here. Super proud of Kahnawà. Kahnawà should be seen for who she is, flaws and all, but sometimes we tend to focus on those flaws, and we should be focusing on the beauty of who Kahnawà is, because she's beautiful. I don't know if she's a she or a they or a he, but they are beautiful. So, and if there's one thing I've learned in my short time with KCI, I've only been with KCI for 5 months, it's apparent that the community cares. Hands down, it's the one thing that I do know. Our people show up and our people speak up. And we're fortunate to have that because not every community does have that. And not every community has the resources that we have here. So we might not always agree, which we know, and we might not always move fast, which we know. We might argue, we might laugh, we might go in circles, and then we might go in bigger circles, but then we might help, and sometimes we complain. And in all honesty, if no one complained, I'd be worried. So, and all of those things actually come from what caring is, and that means caring a whole lot. All of those things, whether you're laughing, complaining, crying, mad, that all means you care. And yet, Kahnawà still keeps going through all of that. And it really does mean that people are paying attention. And if Kahnawà is known for anything, their people pay attention. Everyone's watching everything. And we care enough to keep showing up in all of those capacities. And that's actually something to be truly proud of, because not every place has a heart like that. So all of those things can look jarring, or we don't want to look at them, but it actually means Kahnawà has the biggest heart. And some of the things that is beautiful about Kahnawà is that we have strong people, and we have strong families, and we have strong culture, and we have strong voices. And sometimes we forget that because we see the problems every day. But when you take a step back, you realize that the community does a lot of things right. And look at what our community can do. When we come together, we create, we solve, we protect, we support each other, and at the end of the day, we do love each other. And that's the space you realize how special Kahnawà truly is, and that's what collective impact is. So something that we had, the background image was the Pride Parade, the preparation of it. We had drone footage from that. And I think it was just a nice image of Kahnawà trying something new for the very first time. And all the people from various areas, whether you agreed or disagreed, it didn't matter, people showed up for each other that day. So I think that picture kind of embodies, and it's on our school, it's a representation that we do have our own school system, and there's just so much beauty in that one little drone shot that makes me so proud, the artwork, and just the thought of those kids, and step by step in the background. So I thought, like, wow, Kahnawà, you're freaking killing it. Like, it's so amazing. Okay, so, are you still asking yourself what KCI does? So you could just say that we bring people together, we talk a lot, we try things, we fix things, but we still keep going. And somehow it works. Or, the simple answer, it's a space where people come together to work on the future of our community. And of course, there's still a ways to go, and we're learning as we go. So this is the space that we want to embody, but it could look different from year to year, or week to week, or month to month, and we have to be okay with that. Depends on what the community needs are at that exact time. What we needed 5 years ago isn't necessarily what we need now. So we just always gotta remember that and embody that. Or if you want to say what KCI is it's complicated, but it's good stuff. So I talked enough, and I did rush through it. But I did really want to hear from you guys again. If there's any questions, if there was comments, or if there's complaints, we just talked about that. And some of the things that we're always asking, what's some of the things that we should be focusing on? What does our community need? Sometimes we got to sit and what should we not lose? What should not change? Because some of those things aren't actually looked at. Some of these really good things. And what should we do more of? So I want to talk with you guys about questions, thoughts, ideas, and again, this really embodies what KCI is. So, yes, Sally.
So I just have a question. How does KCI identify what the needs are? Like, it's just through like being in a community, or are people going to you and saying, hey, we need this? So the reason why I'm asking, sorry, is because I just came from Step by Step, and we were approached by KCI saying, hey, you have a garden. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing, because then we started collaborating on how to work on the garden, but we didn't ask for it. So that's why I'm asking, like, is that all just you guys outreach, or is it like tweeting?
Well, right now, because we're in this rebuild, we just went through a really big governance structure in 2025. 2026 is our first chance of actually putting our feet in practicing this new governance structure, just because it's in a, you know, an official document. It's one thing to practice that official document now. So we just, we've only had one team right now, which was the food sovereignty, food security, and they've been thinking of ideas, and she's in the back, Brittany. Really great ideas coming from her, just trying to figure out how she can make impact through KCI to make Kahnawà better. So right now, her passion is gardening, her passion is horticulture. So that's why she wants to go to the Turtle Island Elders Lodge. She wants to go to the school. She's been approaching the school. So right now she's doing the outreach, which is amazing. But we do hope to have more engagement sessions again. We know those 3 ideas. We had the holistic health for youth, we had the language and culture, and we had the food sovereignty. Those were identified back in, I'm going to say 2019, especially by our youth. There was a youth summit, and Dawson just left, but he was actually part of the youth summit back in 2017, where a lot of these ideas actually started. So at some point, we're going to have to go back to the community and say, are these the 3 areas that you're still interested in growing? But that's going to have to be via our steering committee, because the KCI staff is there to support, but it's not actually us driving it. You really have to go back and listen. So our steering committee is, I think they're headed into their 3rd meeting. So first was like orientation, second was a little bit of meat and potatoes. The 3rd one, we should be closing up fiscal and really headed towards what this is going to look like with this new structure. So Brittany right now is just doing her best with outreach, and we'll see where this goes, because we're not in control. The staff's not in control there. We're just waiting for the community to tell us what they need via the steering committee.
So is your steering committee multiple orgs?
Yeah, so I think that was important, and I missed that, so thank you for that. So we have a steering committee of 10 people. 5 of them come from the EDC organization. So we have Dewajuni Zakta, Kahnawà Education Center, KSE, KOR, MCK, and KSES, yes. And then we have 5 community seats. One's an elder seat, which is an advisory seat. Then we have 3 community seats for anyone, and then we have a youth seat. So we felt that was the best way to bring everybody to the table.
And with your restructure, like, do you guys have a mandate or a mission goal type of thing?
Yeah, so we've always had the same vision, mission that was all worked back in 2019. So it's the same thing as like for the community, by the community, looking long range for those 7 generations. So we always do come back to that to really try to think, what does this need? Not those quick fixes. How do we look a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now? How does this all fit? So those
And then
things.
your steering committee, it's like you get that intake also?
Yeah, because everyone's representing an organization or a different part of Kahnawà. So they all come to the table, and if we know if there's a pressing matter that's been brought up, and say it's food security, it's a huge one right now. How can every person at that table help? Is it, I can't even, if I had the answer, we wouldn't be here, but I like to think of it as building a park. Some people are going to bring the actual physical resources, someone are going to bring the people who can put the park together, someone's going to offer the land, but it has to come from all those areas to build that beautiful park. So this is why we're at the table figuring out where's the resources, what can be shared, who has the time, and the ideas that kind of come from there. And eventually we'll have action teams for each of those, and those will be working with their staff, boots on the ground, making those things actually come alive.
So before your restructuring, I know like when I would go to KCI meetings, it was like we were a bunch of different orgs, like tourism, DEWA, Scutney, prevention. I think we would always have like 2 or 3 prevention workers go, and then like we would all collaborate. So is that now the steering committee? No.
No, the steering committee is the 10 people that were nominated and accepted.
Okay, so do you guys still have those meetings, like monthly? For
The monthly steering committees, yeah.
No, but do you have like, so if that's not the steering committee, or that's gone?
No, the steering committee's there once a month, but
No,
it's
I mean,
closed.
do you have something other than the steering committee is what I'm asking, like?
Currently, no.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I wasn't sure if you still
Yeah.
had, like, if you had ongoing projects that you were collaborating with people, like, do you still have those meetings, like, say, before rebranding?
Yeah, so that would be an action team. That's the
Okay.
direction we want to get to.
Okay.
Currently, we have no active action teams,
Okay,
but the goal is to get there. We just need the steering committee to be fully settled in, close this fiscal year, and let's go out with our new budget, know what we need to do, and then we'll be
Okay.
asking the community to volunteer or take part in these action teams, which could be anybody. It could literally be an action team of 2, it could be an action team of 200. It doesn't matter what that looks like, so that's the direction we want to go. We're just not there in this moment.
Okay.
Yeah, so Kahnawà for that. Mhm.
I mean, it sounds, I know that you sat at the Community Prevention Action
Mhm.
Group for one, I think one or a couple of the meetings.
Just one, yeah.
Okay. And prior to that, Shauna Raymond was part of that group. And so there is some overlap. No, I don't think we're duplicating anything, but I think there's some strong overlap around KCI and identifying some of the focus. Like, we kept having these meetings, and so one of the focuses that we've landed on now is mobilizing information on trauma and what that looks like and how that shows up in our families, in our workspaces, in our just day-to-day lives internally. So if there are ideas that come, say, from the Community Prevention Action Group, what's the best way to liaison with KCI so that we're not doing the same work and that we can leverage each other in that space?
So currently, right now, we don't have someone in the position of holistic health and wellness for youth.
Okay.
So that's a open position right now. So there's not a lot, that wouldn't be the basket we're gonna fill first. It's really, our focus right now is food. We just hired a new language and culture coordinator, so that'll be facilitator, so that'll be a new avenue. But if we get to that point where we do have someone filling that and ideas are coming, then absolutely that person will be back at those meetings. Again, we're not there to replace everything that you're doing. We're really there just to support, whether that's volunteering our time, whether that's promoting you on our social media, whether that's whatever help that you need, we would be there to fill that gap. Or if you need connection to, let's say, MCK, then maybe we can get those people in the room all together, or the people that we feel that need to get that project going. So it's really just to support the work that's currently being done and just making sure the right people are in the right room at the right time. But if you ever feel like you need anything, just reach out and we can say,
I
like,
think more representation is really, at this point, it would be great to have a liaison.
I would be that right now then.
Wonderful.
But I'm only
Send you
communications and relations. I can only speak from experience.
Yeah.
I can't speak from a clinical perspective, or
No.
but I can just give. I'm a mom, if that helps. So.
Well, and you're involved in very big community ideas and questions, like, so.
Yeah, and then maybe just any ideas that I've heard or things that are happening, I could at least filter those through. And but happy to help. Absolutely happy to help. So you can reach out to me.
I will.
Yeah,
I have a comment on that,
sure.
because we're talking about like duplicating whatever services or ideas or whatever, but I think duplicating could be a positive, because I look at it that not everybody feels comfortable at this point still coming to KSCS. They have, so if there's these grassroots programs that are considered duplicate but meant that's not not fully tied to KSCS, that people will feel a little bit more comfortable learning in that type of environment, because there's still people that don't like to come here, or if it's a KSCS sponsored program, they don't want. So if it's KCI and it's more of a grassroots, I mean, duplicating projects and stuff like that is different, but I don't think the duplication could actually be positive. So I think we could feed off each other, like whatever projects KSCS has, and then another group can do the similar type of projects, but outside of like the KSCS logo or whatever you want to.
Yeah, I think like at this point, there's no bad ideas. We should be throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. And
Yeah. But there's
was
still
there some
support.
duplication, triplication? Yeah, but I think we were all excited to get something going, and that's okay. And we learn from that, and then we know how to rein it in. But it's exciting that we even got to the point where things were being duplicated. I think that's, amazing too.
Yeah.
So I think it was, yeah, okay.
I noticed on Facebook there was a community calendar.
Mhm.
I believe it's you guys that are, so how, like, is that every, like KSCS, like everybody's? And how do you get your item on there?
So I can show you at the end, I'll bring it up. So yes, that was actually that was something the community kept raising, is that there's so much going on in the community. I can't keep track, I'm overwhelmed, so all these valid points, and I know this was actually coming from some of our elders years ago that wanted this. How do I keep track of all of these things? So finally, there was an initiative which was done by Destiny Lazor Whitebeam. So she put this pilot project through, and it's to the place where now we have all of the organizations on board. It's being updated almost daily. We realized the platform's not strong. It's not a strong platform, but it was a pilot project. You had to start somewhere. So now maybe it's to the point where we can get funding to actually make this available in the Google Play Store or available in the App Store, the iOS Store, and then opening it like an app. But right now, this is where we're at. Clearly, it's something that's still needed. And we're encouraging businesses as well. If you have something that's open to the entire community, then put it on there. If there's free food, maybe we can get you on there, and it's from 1 to 4. Well, I'm gonna go to a language and culture event, and then I'm gonna go get my food on the way home. Like, just so you can kind of plan, or what's going on in Kahnawà before I step out and go into Montreal. So that's really the idea. We're really open to more ideas on that, comments on that, feedback on that. Feedback hasn't been strong on usability, so we're very well aware it's not a pretty app, but everybody's liked everything else.
I think what people.
Oh, sorry, Lisa,
sorry,
wasn't
did you
finished.
finish?
Yeah, and so are people individually putting it on there, or is there like an assigned person that's filtered through?
Yeah.
Like, how does it?
So each org has one admin. So
Okay.
each org, and it's usually the communications person or the person who, I'm trying to think of an example. That's not an org. I can't think of an example right now, but it's usually the communications person or the communications department, and you'd have to filter your information or something that was community-wide, But they should actively be doing, but again, it's still in this incubation time. Those things take time, repetitive. You've seen on the Facebook feed, I know, once a week I'm reminding people of the community calendar, because that's just the phase we're in. Once we get to the point where people don't even have to be reminded, then that's the next goal. But for right now, it is incubation and just reminding people, hey, I saw your event, can you put it up there?
Yeah.
So, and we're really trying, because we don't have someone full-time managing that calendar, we're asking the organizations to take that responsibility to help us, because if not, it's me and it's Tyson updating that calendar, and we're trying to do our job at the same time. So, but again, reach out if you want to use the calendar. We're incubating it, so reach out.
I just wanted to add that, so with like the duplication, it's not, I don't really consider it duplication, because say our programming at traditional services, we focus on you. So I don't know, let's just say we're having, basket week. We're servicing you. So if another organization or grassroots initiative is offering the same thing, then maybe they're able to hit another demographic of the community. And we have out there, there's a hunger for language and culture like I don't think we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
So how many people do we need to service within the community? And we can only open 10 spots. So it's really not a duplication. And I think this is really important. And it's really a place where KCI, if I'm understanding what KCI does, to try to, I don't know, connect maybe?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so your group can only offer services to 25 and under. You can provide service to anybody. So, bringing that together. We were in that training with KSDPP not too long ago, And they showed us, and the whole training was around their framework that they built for a coalition.
Mhm.
And that got me thinking, like, if we could all get together and figure that out, who services, like, what are your limitations, what are your boundaries, whether it's for the demographic that you can serve, the funding that you have, and if we worked together,
Mhm.
we can make a plan. Now, okay, we're offering basket making, we're offering language classes, we're offering traditional medicine, whatever that plan is, but Team A can only accommodate 10 people under 25. Team B can accommodate 30 people at any age. You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So duplication, I don't think it's duplication.
Mhm.
And when I see other organizations posting for events, even if traditional services are offering the same things, I share away because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, as a community, we're all working toward the same common goal.
100%.
And I agree with Ashley where, we tend to forget these things. And it takes practice to kind of put that back in your head and say, no, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So,
As long as someone's getting it done, whether it's me, it's you, or them, it doesn't matter. As long as it's getting done for Kahnawà, that's all that matters at the end of the
Yeah.
day. And that's what we are trying to get to. But again, those things take time to, and it takes trust, and it takes, so it's all those things that go back to being trauma informed. And like Ashley was saying, it's all of those things. But we got to start somewhere. And if it's making a phone call out just at KCI, or you and I have a discussion after this, and we see how we can even just start it or present it to our steering committee and see, like, this is how it started. I don't think there's a wrong way to start. You just got to go, and
yeah.
there's no failure that comes out of that.
And I just had another suggestion or idea, I don't know,
Mhm.
off of the community calendar and how to get it out there. So every Saturday, I go to the same place in Chattagee, and I take the same route.
Mm-hmm.
And they have their electronic billboard that lists everything that's coming out for that week.
Yeah.
We have, I don't know how many of those big, tall, very bright signs.
Yes.
So, I don't know if there's any way you can get on there, but it's just a thought.
Yeah, it's actually been discussed at the EDC comms level. We've talked about it. It's there. There's some boards that we can't access. Some of them are privately owned. Some of them are not working. Some of them can't be fixed. Some of them are organizational owned, which need to have. So it's definitely, the idea is there. The seed is planted, but that also takes funding. So I think we have to work on that, but absolutely it's an amazing idea. I think Kahnawà, the one out here would be amazing. The one but I think the KYC owns that one if I'm not wrong, and it's not fixable. So it's not working on purpose, it's not on not purpose, but it's just that it won't, we can't fix it. So yeah, but definitely it's there, but now we'll go for that suggestion, and Brady sits in on those meetings with me, so we'll table that again in April, so.
That was gonna be my comment.
Okay. Yeah, some kind of resource, yeah. I mean, I think the idea has also been thrown out there, like the corner of Robasco would be great, like something there just to have that. At that stop sign, people are gonna stop and read what's actually there. It's a four-way stop, private land. Again, there's obstacles, but we just gotta work through them and find a solution.
Something too I think would be good with the calendar is like doing a monthly printout and then putting them at all the bulletin boards. Because for prevention, when we have our events, we go to the bank, the arena, the Demas, Res Gas. We go to like both markets, and we just like place them there.
Okay.
So I feel like if you had them out more, people would be like more, they could see it, but also know that, okay, if I want to put my idea in, then maybe you could even have like at KCI, whatever .ca. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have it there like through the email. Also, I did have a question. So I don't know like how many positions you guys have, or like what your organogram or anything looks like that, but I remember when I was coming to a lot of the meetings and we were dealing with Shauna, one of her projects was dealing with the youth who went to school on the outside, and she was getting a lot of feedback that these students felt like a really big disconnect to the community because they go to school elsewhere, they're learning a different curriculum. And I can remember Shauna was really into bringing like the culture into school. She worked a lot with like Billings and Lakeside, and I think even she was going younger, like St. Willibrod and stuff. And last night my team, we did a presentation with the foster care parents with KSCS, and we got feedback from one of the foster care mothers. She is a teacher on the outside, and she had said that she would love getting Native staff into their schools to do Pink Shirt Day, Orange Shirt Day, doing like some cultural things, but also just like a Hoda approach to some of like the self-esteem and assertiveness. A lot of what we're doing as a prevention team, and my thought right away was like Shauna, because that's what she used to do, and I think that's also where a lot of the calendar came from, so that she could keep the students who went to CEGEP and university and even the younger ones like in the loop. And I don't know like if you guys have a facilitator like that, if you guys are planning, because prevention, like we do those things too, but we take on a lot, you know, so us too, like we would love to do that. And in going forward, I think these are things that we could even like collab on. I just don't know if like you guys have that staff, or if you guys still have that project ongoing.
Yeah, so it's still one of the holistic health and wellness, which was Shauna's role at the time. That's ever since Shauna, you know, is no longer with KCI, we haven't filled that role. We really went into this rebuild structure. We had to rebuild the steering committee. We had to rebuild what the action teams looked like. We finally got a handbook together, so it was really going in to do that. So now we're able to go out and hire, like we just hired our language and culture facilitator, so that was the next hire. If the steering committee decides that, yes, let's go forth with hiring the holistic health and wellness facilitator, then that's who exactly you'd be wanting to speak with to do those things.
So even like the language and culture one, like if it is culture based, like like there's somebody there like we could collab with? Yeah, they actually start middle of April, so they're not there just yet. We just found out that our team's expanding. But as soon as they're settled, onboarded, and then for sure, then that's the person to connect to, even if it's not directly to the youth, that's still the language and culture area, and there's still a really big direct connection to the KOR as well. And like, so that person's gonna be able to bring to be the nucleus of that, hopefully. So that's the hope for that. And just about the community calendar as well, we just finished a big social media campaign, so we're really pushing hard on social media, but we also realized like exactly what you had just said, we're going to go into a print campaign, and the hope is not to print out the monthly calendar, because that could be a next phase up. That's because that's a great idea, but right now we're going to print out and put on all the bulletin boards, a QR code, scan it so it'll bring up, so that'll be our next, a big print push, probably I want to say end of March, but it's literally next week. So probably first 2 weeks of April that you'll start seeing them. We at the EDC comms meeting, we put together a mapping of all the bulletin boards. So my goal is to get something on all of those boards and do a big push on that. So, but the same idea. So I think that's the next place I would like to take it is, if it stays static, that's the thing, is I could print it and 2 weeks later it's filled or changed. We see so many changes on it, on events open, and then it's invite only, and so it's the only thing, but amazing idea,
So they're going to get name, got name, If that's like your KCI in Ganyang?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Scared.
Yeah, so you'll see our logo and you'll see it in the smaller print, and it's kind of always been like a goal of KCI to lean into that name, and we just haven't, because we were trying to establish this name. KCI was out there, and then it went away, and then it came back, and then it went away. So right now we're trying to bring all those memories back to KCI, and once people know what it is or what we're working on without thinking twice, then we can continue to lean into the Kahnawà name. To introduce a brand new name when we're still reintroducing ourselves, it's not gonna meet where we need it to be. So still calling ourselves Collective Impact, but at the same time embracing that name. And see, maybe by 2026, I'll be able to say it correctly with pride, and then it'll be our new logo without the English version. Anything else? Brittany, you had a question way back.
Oh, it's just, I don't want to interject because there was like a secondary question
question, but I wanted to answer Alex's question. So prior to starting with the KCI, I began working with them in November. So as like just a regular worker bee, going about my day and dropping my son off step by step. As a horticulturist, like I always paid attention to the garden that was in the front. So I realized, you know, some days like the teachers' plates are already so full, you know, the staff and everything. So as just a regular community member, I was like, I can step in and I can help. And one day I brought my pruners and I started like chopping away at the tomatoes just because I seen there was a need for it. So I was blessed with the opportunity. Like my passion is horticulture, but I also like helping people. So when I seen the job position for the KCI, I was like, it's a no-brainer. I'm gonna try to apply for it, and like I'm just blessed to have the position to do both things that I love. So as just a regular community member, I seen that there was a need to help the teachers, the staff, and what's like beneficial is when my son was going to step by step, I was so satisfied knowing like the kitchen menu is like amazing there. He's eating better than me like most days. And I was just really like kind of trying to do a spin-off, like if I could help them with the garden, they can have more variety for the menu. And then however many kids that are going there, like that's how many parents are kind of having the, you know, like at the end of the day, like, okay, my son or my daughter had this at snack time, lunch, and you know, it's kind of, it's extra nutrients, extra vitamins, and it's like food that maybe I wouldn't have made for him myself. So I just wanted to like, getting this position, I just wanted to like step in and kind of like I seen the need to help in that area. And then I said, well, I don't want to just be exclusive to just step by step. So I contacted all the schools, and I'm going to be taking on their garden, like assisting them. So the teachers don't feel the burden of having to go out into the garden and, you know, maybe they don't know what they're doing, maybe they do, but with the assistance with the KCI, it's beneficial because I'm getting paid to help, you know, and step in, and teachers aren't getting paid to do this extra work. And, you know, everyone has like a full agenda, like either if you're a teacher or you're just a parent. So as a granddaughter, I thought of the elders also. They're all on a fixed income because they're all retired. So I thought it was beneficial for them also step in, approach the Elders Lodge. And after hearing that their yield wasn't successful last year, it was very like, they were all sad because they didn't have the cucumbers or the tomatoes or whatever it is that they wanted to incorporate into their menu or their diet. So as just a regular community member, I seen the need. Like my grandmother was on a fixed income. It was very hard for her to keep up with her bills, and then to eat healthy, it was a very large obstacle for her. Just to even go have the transportation, she didn't have a car. So I wanted to bring that convenience to our elders and the community, and just as a start, you know, like to go to these different locations and put that love and that work into it. And like one of the locations said that their members were like very excited to hear about it. The Elders Lodge are like really looking forward to it. And instead of me just saying, well, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna put tomatoes, this and this and that, it's like, I want their input. What do they want out of the garden? What do they want to eat? Like, so I'm looking forward to the gardening season, and
to see where it takes off. And I feel like maybe some people in the community want these things, like there's a need for food. The food is just steadily increasing in price, and as a single mother of one child, it's like $200 to $300 at the grocery store a week, and just to keep up with like healthy produce for him. And I'm excited, but I think maybe some community members don't know where to start. Like they have ideas, but they don't really know where to go. And maybe like on my personal Facebook, I will ask questions like, what does the community want to see? Like, what are things that you would like to see in the community for agriculture? Just stuff like that, so I can get a good idea of what I can maybe work on as a project. And all of the projects that I work on have to be passed by the steering committee. So it's just to answer your question though, like I wasn't like, you're going to have this. It was more of like, I see the need and I know how to take care of it, and I wanted to just step in and help assist. And at one point, Natalie had, like before the greenhouse was established at Step by Step, she met with Stephen McCumber, but she wanted to have me go there to facilitate it. It was like an option. But maybe for whatever reason, budgeting or something, it just wasn't feasible or something for them, so they didn't end up hiring me to help them. But in the end, they ended up benefiting from it for free. And you know, like I get people randomly just asking me about their half-dead plant in their house, or like, my tomato has this on it, like what can I do? So I'm always happy to help, even if it's just on my personal time, like when it comes to gardening. So I hope that answers a long-winded answer, but I just wanted to like clarify, and like I look forward to, I really hope that people do contact the KCI and say like, we need a poultry farm, we need, you know, whatever it is, like in terms of agriculture and horticulture. I look forward to that input and opinions and thoughts and everything like that. So maybe that's something we can like put out there, like on our socials, like if they have an idea, just so that it's like a little extra push.
Yeah.
And maybe people will be like, all right, well, I'll submit this then. It's just like a click of a button, you know?
And it goes back to the community showing up. When we have these great ideas, people need to show up, because we can't just do it. Brittany is one staff member, and she has all the ideas in the world, and I wish we could just do every single one of them. But she thinks that she's going to plant tomatoes, but she's doing so much more than that. It's a chance for those elders to practice language. It's a chance for maybe youth who aren't in school that time to go and help them weed the garden. There's so much more to that actually impacts our community, regulates our nervous system. There's so much vitamin D. It's giving us, so there's just so much. It's not just planting tomatoes. It's way more than that. So you don't give yourself enough credit.
Back to like what KCI does. Have you ever, or maybe it's already out there and haven't seen it, like, is there anything that's telling the community, like, this is what we do, or this is what we can help you with? Like, in my mind, I'm thinking almost like an infographic saying, like, did you know? We can help you with grant writing. We can help you with, and then like a list, like, and it doesn't necessarily have to say those are the only things, but I think like just like now sitting here and listening to all these different ideas, it's like I wouldn't have known that unless I sat here. But how do you reach just people who are at home and maybe scrolling on their phones, and then they're like, oh, like, is there anything that exists like that? Or
there is, in more of like a pamphlet form, if we have a physical tent set up or a physical table set up at one of our events, that's where we kind of are. But because we've been in this rebuilding stage, we've been hesitant to be like, okay, we can do this, but not yet. So we weren't ready to release into the wild again, but we are moving. And again, that was what some of the goals is: more communication, more engagement, more action. We're actually ready to get out there and go again. So that is something I will do because that is my job. But absolutely, I think even if we had a little social media campaign that's like, did you know this is what Casey, and it could just be one little blurb, that's it, plant the seed, next week, did you know we also, this is what we've done, and this is what we could do. So I think you have given me work to do, so thank you. Anything else, or anyone else? Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to add that I find it's very important too to collaborate with like the different nations that we are, like all throughout the Confederacy, because there is a lot of things that, just in Kahnawà, they also have something like a sustainability building that has all their seeds and all their foods and like freezers full of like the berries that are only seasonal, you know, that you can't just plant a berry, plant in on the ground when it's winter time, you know, they freeze that stuff. And it's just nice to network with our people that are still with us. It's not just our community, we have a whole other nation that stands with us, and we're all together as one. And I think that's important as well, because growing up I have a father that's from Montana. He's a native out there, and I've always tried to like see what is going on everywhere else and like how could their ideas help us as well.
Yeah, they have knowledge that we don't, and it's, you know, we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses, but Brittany's very conscious of that. She's always visiting other farms, and like again, I'm communications, she's out in the wild in the food world, but she's very open-minded. I know Luann even is always thinking like, yes, we call it Kahnawà Collective Impact, but at some point we should be talking about with Leslie, and the lines are open. They do invite us to our seed conference. Like it's there, but it could always be built on, and there is a whole bunch of other people we haven't connected with, but right now we are trying to start right here. We are a team of 7 people. So we are just trying to just do this, but the more we work and the more we grow, the more our tentacles kind of go out into the world. So I think that's the ultimate goal, but I do love that.
Somebody in Kahnawà, I was in contact with somebody that works there, and I was interested with collaborating and trading with them at one point, but at the time it was kind of unfortunate. The woman that I was supposed to call, she had a death in the family, and I just didn't want to, I wanted to give her a little bit of time to heal before I contacted her, but I was really interested in how Kahnawà functions and how everybody shares like from that community, and the fact that they have fish ponds was really interesting, like for me. So I wanted to kind of take a visit in the springtime just to see like how they were running things over there, and maybe like formulate some kind of relation between the two communities. Also.
Yeah.
Fire lit, and I.
Yeah. You can't stop this one. Her passion comes out of her pores. So, so I'm just gonna wrap it up. If there's nothing else, I know it's 5 minutes to 12, so I just want to make sure everyone's good. So this is my last slide, and if there's anything I hope that you leave with today, it is a sense of pride in your position, whether you live here, whether you help here, whatever that means to you. Just to really have pride in our community, pride in our people, pride to the work that's been done, and pride to the work that's coming. So I think Ashley talked on that. Yes, there's been a lot in the past, but there's a lot coming down the pipeline as well. Remembering that KCI is the people. It's run by the people. It's for the community. It's by the community. And it's for the people who are going to be sitting in these seats years from now when we're no longer here. And know that we can't do it without you. So Nyawa for listening, Nyawa for caring, and Nyawa for being part of this community in the capacity that you are.